On Thursday, the 1st of March, Gerald's in Norwich will be hosting a book launch. Local author Phyllida Scrivens will present her new biography to the public. After the success of her previous title, Escaping Hitler, her new biography narrates the story of 17 remarkable women who held the office of Lord Mayor of Norwich. Our reporter Fabiana Kakache went to meet her to have a sneak peek.
Phyllida developed a passion for writing at an early age. However, she only became confident enough to get her first biography published after graduating as a mature student.
I'd always loved to write. When I was at school, I used to write lots and lots of stories. But it took me until age 60 to get my first publishing contract. And that was mainly because I'd done the MA in biography at the UEA as a very mature student, which was wonderful. I graduated in 2014, and that gave me the confidence to send off a proposal to a publishing house who amazingly picked it up straight away. That was for my first book, Escaping Hitler.
Her first bestseller, Escaping Hitler, tells the story of Joe Starlin, a Norwich local who escaped from Nazi Germany. While doing research for her biography, she met a lady that gave her the inspiration for her second book.
My second book came out of the research I was doing for Joe's book. I got to meet many other civics, including the Lord Mayor who had been with him for that year in 1975, a lovely elderly lady called Joyce Morgan, and I interviewed her. And as I left her flat that day, she said, "Would you mind writing my biography, dear?" After I'd written Joe's book and it had got off the ground and it was published, and I wanted to write a second book, I remembered Joyce's words, and I thought about doing the biography of the women who had been Lord Mayor in Norwich. These ladies, the stories involve their early beginnings, their families, their childhoods, their education, how they got into politics, how they became the Lord Mayor, and then what happened while they were acting as Lord Mayor that particular year. Every chapter finishes with a list of the highlights, and it involves so many charities and local groups in Norwich, because those are who benefit from having a Lord Mayor in the city. You invite a Lord Mayor to your fundraising event and you get people coming, and that's really an advantage. So these stories are anecdotal, they're amusing, they're sad. Like anybody's life, each and every lady had highlights and lowlights, and I've got the stories from them, and I've now put it into a narrative, and I hope people will find it both entertaining and instructive.
Phyllida hopes that her book will allow people of Norwich to preserve the memories of their heritage and their city's history.
Sadly, it's a dying art, being the civic office, because of budget cuts, a limited interest from the public now compared to the past. All sorts of reasons means that in recent years, all the wonderful trappings that used to go with that job, the limousines, the civic coach, the big banquets, the royal visits, all those things that everyone talked to me about when I interviewed 9 of the ladies who are still alive, are going to become a thing of the past. So I'd like to hope that this book will tell people in Norwich how it used to be when thousands of people would turn up in Market Square to see the mayor making. Now you're lucky if you get a dozen. But people can read about how that was in the past. And for good or bad, I'm afraid that, from my point of view, I love the heritage, I love the tradition, and I think that is falling away a bit. But this book will hopefully hold it forever, those memories of those ladies who have been the first citizen of Norwich.
Phyllida has something special planned for a book launch on the 1st of March.
Exciting thing about this particular launch is the current Lord Mayor and Sheriff have agreed to be there as guests in their gold chains with their consorts, along with 8 of the surviving 9 ladies. The 9th is 98, Barbara Stevenson. She lives with her daughter. She's totally blind. Sadly, she can't be with us that night. But 8 of the ladies who still live in Norwich are going to be there and are happy to sign copies of the book. Once I've signed them, you can take your book to the former Lady Lord Mayors and they will sign too. They each have their own chapter. So I think that'll be a fairly unique occasion.
The Right Worshipful the Lord Mayor of Norwich, Councillor David Fullman, and the Worshipful the Sheriff of Norwich, Mr. David Walker, will also be attending this event. Fabiana Kakache, That's TV.